Hey there, friends. So, a few weeks ago, I got a message from a Patreon supporter that has kind of stuck in my head and not wormed its way out since I first read it. This Patreon supporter was asking me what I think is a very insightful question, which is, how is it that I am so free with my expression? Because this person in particular, it feels very self-conscious a lot of the time. And I think there's really two questions to break out of this. One is how to feel less self-conscious, and the other one is how to really engage in more free expression. So I'm going to tackle these questions in two different videos here, starting with this one on how to become less self-conscious. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, I'm going to share with you my best tips for becoming less self-conscious. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecha, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Pyroterra Light Toys, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these awesome companies and the work they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friend of the channel, Pekka Pekkonen. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. So I will say from the jump that I feel incredibly ill-equipped to answer this question, namely because I don't spend a lot of time thinking about how to become less self-conscious. In fact, I feel self-conscious a lot of the time. I'm currently walking around my neighborhood talking to a little vlogging camera, and I feel tremendously self-conscious about it. And yet I'm doing it anyhow. And I think there's some core piece to uncover there about, you know, that old quote of courage is not the absence of fear, but it's what you do despite the fear. But as I'm thinking about it, I'm recognizing that there are some things that have changed for me over the years in terms of how I kind of inhabit my self-consciousness and how I respond to it. And I think it does have to be said from the jump that the biggest variable that made a difference for me here is that I have been going to therapy for years now. And the help has helped, as they say on the West Wing. I think that that is probably the single most important intervention I've made in my adult life on a lot of different levels and for a lot of different things. And at the end of this video, I will circle back around and give you some options for how you might seek that kind of therapeutic intervention yourselves. But in kind of rolling this question around in my head, I did realize that there were a few exercises that I either came up with on my own or that came up in those therapy sessions that did help out quite a lot. So I'm going to try and share those with you. So I do think that the core of what's going on when we're self-conscious is that we are kind of basing our opinions on ourselves around how the people around us respond to us. So we may be in a place where we feel a little like, oh, you know, I have this flaw and that flaw, and worried that other people are going to see them or that they're going to see a completely different flaw that we're not aware of. And in all of those different cases, what that really comes down to is having a sense of self where you're kind of looking for the reactions of other people to know how to feel about yourself. And I think that there are some interventions that can help move that, I guess, dial around to a place where you're able to give yourself the feeling of validation that you need to walk into a place with your head held high. So exercise number one, and this is one that I kind of found on my own, but that therapy really helped me explore in more detail, is to, as corny as it sounds, create a list of things that you like about yourself. It could be small things, it could be big things. Maybe it's how kind you are to other people. Maybe it's how curious you are. Maybe it is just the fact that you're a friendly person and you want everybody to feel comfortable. The point is, you want to make a list of things that you treasure about yourself, that you love about yourself. And these are things that nobody can touch. These are things that, regardless of what anybody around you is saying or thinking about you, that you know you are showing up to the party bringing something that you think is important, and that is immovable. I've done this exercise several times over the years, and I got to tell you, every time I sit down and do it, I wind up in tears by the end of it, because part of what's happening there is I'm reminding myself, you know what? I'm not such a bad guy. I've got a lot going for me. And more to the point, there's quite a lot about me that I love. And going through this exercise, I think, is a great way to reconnect with those things. Okay, so item number 2 is a little bit more of a challenge, but it's kind of the flip side to item number 1. Where item number 1 is kind of coming to a place where we see, accept, and love our strengths, we also have to recognize that all of us are human and therefore all of us have flaws, and that those flaws don't make us unworthy. That's just an aspect of being human. And don't get me wrong, sometimes we have a temper and that can have a negative impact on the people around us, and that's probably a thing that we want to work on. But also too, we can recognize that we are all human and we all have our moments when we're not our best. That doesn't make us unworthy, it just makes us human. And you can take those moments and either look at them as a moment where you have something to learn and take forward with you, or you kind of internalize and hold on to those things and say, this makes me a bad person, this makes me unworthy. And the challenge here is to let go of those moments, to be like, you know, yeah, I could have handled that better. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to learn from it, but I'm not going to judge myself as a result of it. I am going to learn to love my flaws as much as I love my strengths and recognize that they just make me human in the end, and change what I need to in order to improve both my life and the lives of those around me. A big part of this is simply holding grace for yourself and grace for others. You can have a day when you don't react to something as you'd like to and sit and think on it and be like, well, you know, I'm under a lot of stress and, you know, my car broke down and I'm really worried I might lose my job, so on and so forth. And so I reacted to something in a way that I kind of regret. And it's okay to say, you know what? Yeah, I could have handled that better. And engage in accountability. If you snapped at somebody, you can say, you know, hey, I'm sorry you didn't deserve that. Or if you don't have that opportunity, you can simply say, you know what? Yeah, I didn't do this so well, but I can let go of it. I can get on with my day and recognize that I should maybe give myself a little bit of slack, and as much as possible, try to avoid additional stressors. See how that works. All right, so far we have been doing a lot of internal work, and now it is time to start putting in some of the external work too. There's a statement that I have been kind of holding on to as a mantra and repeatedly telling myself at different points in the past few months, and sometimes in really specific situations, and I want you to internalize it too. And it's this: other people's opinions do not determine my value. If somebody's angry at me, that does not make me a bad person. That does not make me unworthy of their love or anybody else's. I am still worthy, and nothing can change that. And like, this is really hard because you can tell yourself that, but actually feeling it, internalizing it, that can take a little bit of work. But it is worthwhile, because when you can do this, all of a sudden it means you start letting go of all of the guilt and shame that you're carrying around with you when you do have other people's opinions piling up on you. It's really funny because I get a lot, and I do mean a lot, of pretty negative comments on some of my content. And in a lot of cases, my first reaction is to feel an enormous amount of shame when those comments come in. And it's funny because like a week or two later, maybe, I'll run back across those comments and I'll think about where I was in my head when I originally read them, or God forbid, when I was responding to them. And I'll be able to look back and say, you know, that kind of wasn't that big a deal. This person was just approaching this from their own angle with whatever stuff they have from their own background, from their own story. Ultimately, this wasn't about me. This was about them and them projecting whatever they have going on into my video or into this conversation. That says nothing about me. That says something about them. And so what I've been trying to do is when those moments pop up now, to try and think in advance and be like, okay, so let's not think about how I'm feeling right now. Let's think about how I'm going to be feeling 2 weeks from now. Let's imagine that I'm reading this comment then. How much do I feel like this actually impacts my world? And almost always the answer to that is not a whole lot. So item number 4 on this list is going to be, strangely enough, to acknowledge your discomfort. That is, if you are in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, to sit with that feeling, to acknowledge that you are feeling it, not to try to numb it away or escape from it in some way, shape, or form, but to look at it as a teacher. Your body and brain are trying to tell you something in this moment, to accept that discomfort rather than thinking that it must be eliminated, because it's trying to tell you something. It's actually remarkably powerful to be in a moment where you can tell yourself, I'm a human being and I am having a feeling, and be able to say, yes, you know what? Something is making me uncomfortable right now. Let's figure out what that is. Is the music too loud here? Am I feeling hungry? Is my outfit uncomfortable? Do I need to do something to change this and feel more at ease? Or is this just simply not my scene? Maybe, I kind of miscalculated and I need some time to myself this evening. Or, maybe I'm really, really, really stressed out about my car being towed while I'm at this park. Are there ways that we can fix these problems? And also, too, let's acknowledge the fact that that discomfort is happening in the first place and feel comfortable kind of validating it for ourselves, And item number 5, the last one on this list, is kind of closely tied to item number 4. And that is to listen to your body and your brain and the messages that they are sending you. Part of this just goes into self-love of saying, hey, my feelings are real, my feelings are valid, my body and brain both need things, and those are things that will make me happier and healthier in the long run. And I should probably listen to them. Like, say, I've had a stressful week. Maybe it's a good idea for me to go out and get a hike done, even if I do have to shoot a video. Really what I'm getting at with this one is I think it's really common for us to listen to other people's kind of body language and the tone of their voice more than we sometimes listen to ourselves, more than we sometimes listen to that tight feeling in our shoulders. Or, that alarm bell going off in our brain telling us, oh no, I'm not sure if, this is the right crowd for me to hang out with right now. And I think it's important that we learn to listen to what our bodies and brains are telling us first and what the people around us are telling us second. And it's only after we're in a place, I think, where we can acknowledge those feelings within ourselves that it becomes easier to be there for other people as well, because their feelings are also real. But if we're not acknowledging our own feelings at the same time, it can be really, really difficult not to see those feelings as being in competition. So, learn to listen to yourself. And more important than anything else, recognize that your internal voice is just as important as those voices that are outside of you too. So I hope these tips are helpful, and I hope they at least get you started on a journey of working with your feelings of self-consciousness. It is still very much a work that is in progress for me, and accept that it's probably going to be a long journey for you too. And it's really kind of a process rather than something that has an endpoint at any point in the future. Once again, I will highly recommend that this is where you start and not where you end on the process. I really think that the best option here is to kind of talk to a therapist and figure out your specific variables and how you navigate feelings of self-consciousness. I found my therapist on the Open Path Collective. That is openpathcollective.org. They do discounted therapy sessions for people who are low income. I will include a link to that website down in the description. I highly recommend checking them out. Thanks once again to the Patreon supporter that sent me that message and got my gears a-turning on how exactly I could help them out, as well as I'm sure a lot of other people out there as well who are struggling with the very same issues. Did you get anything out of this video? Please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to help other people find it, and of course, to help my channel grow. This video and all the videos on this channel would not exist were it not for my amazing supporters on Patreon. In particular, I'd love to give a shout out to my Flow patrons who are listed on screen right now. Thank you, you all rock. And if you would like to support my work, you got a couple options of how you could do that. Number one, if you'd like to get your name in the credits or access to a whole host of other rewards, you can go sign up for my Patreon at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi. I'll include a link to it down in the description as well as up in the cards. Also too, if you would prefer not to sign up for another subscription service, I can't blame you. You can send me a one-off donation via either Venmo or PayPal. I am at DrexFactor on both platforms. I will leave links to both of those things down in the description as well. And if you'd like to see some of my other videos talking about mental health, I will go ahead and include a link to a playlist of those videos, once again, down in the description as well as up on screen. Thanks so much for going for a walk with me, and I hope you get out and do some flowing today, because it's not just good for your body, it is also good for your brain. Take care now, and I'll see you in the new video real soon. Peace.